Dear students, in your last class we discussed about different classification of amino acids. Today we are going to discuss about how the formation of protein occurs from amino acid units. Before moving on to the structure of proteins, we have to know what are peptides and what is peptide linkage. See, proteins are having complex structure and are mainly composed of alpha amino acids, which are joined into chains by peptide bonds. We know that alpha amino acids are having a COH functional group and an amino group on the alpha carbon. This is alpha carbon. So when amino acids combine together, we have two amino acid units, then which are combined together with the elimination of water molecule. OH from COH group combines with H from amino group, then eliminating a water molecule. So we will get a bond, that is peptide bond, CONH. Then the product is dipeptide. Dipeptide means here two molecules of amino acids combined together, so we will get the product dipeptide. So usually amino acid molecules combine together with the elimination of simple molecules. Like simple molecule here, simple molecule is water, and forming a dipeptide or any peptide through peptide linkage, forming dipeptide, tripeptide, tetrapeptide, etc. So the product of condensation of alpha amino acids is called a peptide. So what is condensation? Condensation means the process or reaction in which molecules combine together with the elimination of simple molecules. Here in this case water molecule. So combining molecules with elimination of small molecules and giving the final product, that is the process of condensation. Then in the case of alpha amino acids, the product of condensation is a peptide. When two amino acids combine together, we will get a dipeptide. The CONH linkage that unites successive amino acid units in a peptide is called a peptide linkage or peptide bond. So this bond, CONH bond, is known as peptide bond or peptide linkage. So usually in peptides, the amino acid units are joined together through peptide bond, that is CONH bond. Then what is chemically peptide bond? Peptide linkage is an amide linkage. CONH bond is also known as amide linkage, formed between COH group of one amino acid molecule and the NH group of another same or different amino acid molecule with the elimination of a water molecule. Here we have two amino acid molecule, same amino acid. Here R is, both R groups are same. So two amino acid molecules of the same molecule. Then they combine together. In this way they can combine together and forming a dipeptide. But the peptide bond can also form by combining a combination of one amino acid and a different molecule. That means here we have two similar molecules. Then peptide bond can also form between different molecules of amino acids. So when two amino acids condense, the product is called a dipeptide. Here you have a dipeptide. When three amino acids are combined together, we will get a tripeptide. That's about the formation of peptides and peptide linkage. So what is the linkage in peptide? That is peptide bond, CONH linkage. Now let us see how the formation of peptides occurs chemically, or how we can represent peptides. By convention, peptides and proteins are written with the free amino group, that is with the N-terminal amino acid. N-terminal amino acid means the amino acid in which the amino group is free. that you have to write on the left side, and the free carboxyl group with the C-terminal amino acid on the right. C-terminal amino acid means the amino acid in which the carboxyl group is free, that you have to write on the right side. Then when the identities of the amino acids and their sequence in a peptide are known, the symbols of the amino acids are written separated by hyphens. That means you have to exhibit the identity of the peptide by giving the 3-letter symbol or 1-letter symbol. Here we have 2 amino acids, that is glycine and alanine. They are combined together by eliminating a molecule of water and forming a dipeptide through a peptide linkage. So you have to exhibit the name of this dipeptide by 3-letter symbol of glycine is GLY, and that for alanine is ALA. So the names of 2 peptides have to be separated by a hyphen. So GLY, ALA. If we have 3 amino acids, when 3 amino acids condense, the product is called a tripeptide. Here N-terminal residue that you have to write on the left side. Here we have alanine unit, then glycine unit, then phenylalanine unit. So 3 amino acids combined together and we will get a tripeptide. And you have to exhibit the name as alanine, glycine and phenylalanine. That means LA for alanine, GLY for glycine and PHE for phenylalanine. So by knowing the name we can understand that what are the types of amino acids that are present in the peptide unit. So usually the first amino acid listed is the N-terminal amino acid. So N-terminal means the amino acid in which the NH group is free. This one is in this case the alanine. The COH group is not free, it has combined with the NH group of glycine unit. So first amino acid will be always N-terminal amino acid, and the last one is the C-terminal amino acid. The last one is phenylalanine. In this case the COH group is free here, NH2 group is combined with the COH group of glycine unit. So first amino acid will be always N-terminal and the last one is always C-terminal. When 4, 5, 6 etc. amino acids condense, the products are respectively called tetrapeptide, pentapeptide, hexapeptide, etc. That means here we have a tripeptide that is formed by the combination of 3 amino acids. Just like when 4 amino acids are there, we will get a tetrapeptide. Then if we have 5, then pentapeptide, then hexapeptide by combining 6 amino acid units. That's all about the formation of peptides. Now let us know what are polypeptides. They are the condensation product from a large number of amino acid molecules, usually 10 or more amino acid units is called a polypeptide. And that means if you know that if the peptide contains 2 amino acids, that is known as dipeptide. Then if it contains 3 amino acids, then 4, that is known as tetrapeptide, like that. If the peptide contains 10 or more, then that product is known as condensation product is known as polypeptide. So polypeptide is the condensation product from a large number of amino acid molecules, generally 10 or amino acid. It needs 10 or more amino acid units for the formation of polypeptide. So proteins are polypeptides of high molecular mass. So proteins contain very large number of amino acid units. So it is a polypeptide of high molecular mass. Here we have the structure of polypeptide. That means different amino acids, large number of amino acid units combined together forming polypeptide with the elimination of water molecule and through the peptide linkage. Here we have the peptide linkage. So that's all about the polypeptides. Now let us see how the formation of protein occurs. Polypeptides of high molecular mass formed from the condensation of very large number of alpha amino acids are called proteins. That means proteins contain large number of amino acid means it may be 100 or more than 100. Generally, a protein has 100 or more amino acid units and a molecular mass greater than 10,000 AMU. That means polypeptides should contain at least 10 or more. But in the case of proteins, it is having 100 or more than 100 amino acid units. For example, the protein hemoglobin in blood has 574 alpha amino acid units. So more than 100, that means 574 amino acid units are present in hemoglobin protein. Here we have a structure of a peptide chain. Methionine, glycine, leucine, serine, threonine, valine, different amino acids are combined together through peptide linkage. Here we have C terminus. That means free carboxylic N. Here free NH2 group. So that is N terminus N. Then this is in the form of Z-trione. Here you can see a dipolar ion NH3 plus and CO minus. Then see the formation of protein. Different amino acids are here which are combined together through peptide bond, then forming a peptide, then forming polypeptide, then the final product will be a protein. Large number of amino acids combined together forming a protein. This is the formation of proteins from different amino acid units. Next, we are going to discuss about the classification of proteins. Based on their molecular shapes and solubility in water, proteins can be classified into mainly two types. This one is fibrous proteins, the other one is globular proteins. So what are fibrous proteins? Fibrous proteins consist of long helical thread-like polypeptide chains which lie side by side, that means parallel, and are held together by hydrogen bonds and disulfide bonds at many points to yield fiber-like structures. Here you can see the structure of fibrous protein. It is collagen. Example for fibrous protein is collagen. It is present in tendons. So in this case, fibrous proteins are formed by hydrogen bonds and disulfide bonds between long helical thread-like chains. You can see here long helical thread-like chains, polypeptide chains which lie parallel and are held together by hydrogen bonds. These parallel polypeptide chains are held together by hydrogen bonds and disulfide bonds at many points and forming fiber-like structures. And then what about their solubility? They are generally insoluble. They are fiber-like, so they are insoluble in water. And examples, keratin. The protein keratin is present in hair, skin, nails and wool. Then protein collagen in tendons. Then fibroin in silk, myosin in muscles. These are the fibrous proteins. The next classification is globular proteins. What are globular proteins? Globular proteins are those in which the molecules are looped, twisted and folded together into compact units having ball-like structures. Here you can see the structure of globular protein, myoglobin. In this case, the polypeptide chains are looped, twisted and folded together and forming ball-like or spherical three-dimensional structures. So, the name globular proteins. And their solubility, they are generally soluble in water. Globular proteins are soluble in water, whereas fibrous proteins are insoluble in water. Then common examples, antibodies, many hormones like insulin, then almost all enzymes are globular proteins, and then albumins present in blood, they are also globular proteins. So based on their molecular shapes and solubility, proteins are classified into fibrous proteins and globular proteins. Fibrous proteins are having thread-like, fiber-like structures, whereas globular proteins are having ball-like or spherical shape. Then fibrous proteins are insoluble in water, whereas globular proteins are soluble in water. And examples for fibrous proteins: keratin, collagen, fibrin, myosin, etc. Then globular proteins, antibodies, hormones like insulin, enzymes, albumins. So these are all about the classification of proteins. Thank you.